Automation is not always better. As an engineer, that's something I never thought I'd say, but I had to learn this the hard way. When I started my career, I was always drawn to the most high-tech solution. I thought automation was the gold standard for solving production problems. But after years of working in production and consulting, I've come to realize that some of the decisions I made, decisions I was really proud of at the time, were far from the best ones. Because here's the thing. Automation is just a tool, and while it's a powerful one, it's not the only one in our toolkit. If we don't use it wisely, it can cost more than it gives back. Today I want to share 5 of the most common mistakes I see people make when automating their production process, or honestly, automating in general. Mistakes I've seen firsthand, often in multi-million-dollar projects. And the last mistake is one I made myself early in my career, and I'll never forget that lesson. When I was a consultant at McKinsey, I once visited the factory of an automotive supplier and spoke with a plant manager. He told me, "My dream is that I can turn off the lights, lock the doors, and the factory will just run itself without any people." At first that sounded impressive, a fully automated factory. But then I asked, why is that your goal? And he shrugged and said, because it's the perfect factory. Is it though? Here's the problem. Automation should never be the goal. It's not an end in itself. Instead, automation is a means to achieve specific business goals, like reducing defects, increasing throughput, lowering costs. Without that clarity of why we're doing it, what we're solving for, it's easy to make expensive investments that don't deliver meaningful results. Automation without a clear goal can become a very costly mistake. At that same factory, they had planned an enormous automation project, 20 cobots or collaborative robots that would cost around 2 million euros. And then rearranging all the machines to fit those cobots and redefining all the production processes and redesigning the logistics around it brought the total price closer to 5 million euros. But before the project started, my team walked the production floor to see if we could optimize their processes. And guess what? We found ways to have one operator manage several machines at the same time on several of their production lines. Suddenly, the cobots would have replaced far fewer workers than they'd calculated. Their entire business case fell apart. Yeah, we did not become friends with the engineering team that had planned this big automation project. But automating inefficiencies doesn't fix them, it amplifies them. If you don't optimize first, you risk automating broken processes, producing defects faster, or simply wasting money. Now, that same project made another critical mistake. They were going to buy all 20 cobots at once. It was going to be a one-and-done kind of project, fixing all of their problems at once. Why? Why not just start with 1 or 2 cobots and see how they perform? This is the automation trap. It often gets framed as an all-or-nothing choice. Manual as is versus fully automated. But there's a middle ground. You can prototype, implement partial automation, or just start with some manual improvements. I used to fall into this trap too. I'd see a manual process like a visual inspection and think, we need to automate this, without considering smaller incremental changes that might have been more cost-effective and less risky. So let's stop this all-or-nothing thinking. Automation doesn't have to mean replacing everything overnight. And we're never gonna fix all our problems in one go. If someone promises that, run. Or, well, question their plans. Start small, test, and scale up if it works. Alright, let's leave that automotive supplier behind and look at another example. This time, a company was planning to upgrade their production line to a fully automated, highly efficient one. It sounded great, except for one detail. Once the upgrade was complete, the line could no longer produce a specific product variation. They said, it's fine, the contract for this variant ends this year, and we're not renewing it. We'll never need to produce this part again. That might sound logical, but here's the thing. I'm not just worried about this one product. I'm worried about any future changes, whether it's new product demands, unexpected rush orders, or even shifts in production volumes. Automation often comes with the trade-off of reduced flexibility. Just because that manual process seems outdated now doesn't mean its flexibility won't save you down the line. In production, things rarely go as planned. Orders fall through, rush orders pop up, machines break, material shipments get delayed, and suddenly your rigid, single-purpose automated line turns into a massive bottleneck. In production, flexibility is king. Without it, you're not just limited, you're stuck. So when designing automation, always ask, can this adapt if the market changes? Because the market will change. It's just a matter of when. Now, this last one's personal. When I was an engineer in a battery factory, I designed a conveyor belt system to move these super heavy trays filled with batteries from one process to the next. It was a solid design, but I didn't account for delays and breakdowns. First, we had to delay the installation. The process equipment that the conveyor should connect to was partially delayed. So some of it was already up and running, and some other part was delayed by over a year. Yeah, I know, the scale of delays in production are unfathomable, but we had not planned to partially install and use a conveyor system, and we had to work around that. And then also, once the conveyors were fully installed, they broke down a lot more than expected, and we didn't have a backup plan. Moving these trays manually was a logistical nightmare. We ended up retrofitting the system with manual exit points and trolleys. Something we could have planned from the start if I had just asked the question, what if this doesn't always work? Relying entirely on automation leaves your production line vulnerable. Manual backups might seem like an unnecessary expense up front, but they might save you from catastrophic downtime later. So automation is great when it works, but when it doesn't, you need to have a backup plan to avoid downtime. So maybe you're realizing that automation isn't the right solution for every improvement you've planned. The question is, how do you improve without relying on automation? I made a video where I share my full checklist for optimizing manual workspaces, a powerful way to make improvements that don't break the bank, which you can check out right here.